Hello and a warm welcome to this webinar about the School of Engineering Sciences in Chemistry, Biotechnology and Health at KTH. My name is Sabina Fabrizi and I'm Communications Manager at the school. And I will be your host today together with Professor Eva Malmström Jonsson. Eva, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello Sabina. My name is Eva Malmström. I'm a professor in coating technology at the CBH school and I'm also an international coordinator at the school.
Welcome Eva. And Srijani Saha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. Hello, I am Srijani Saha. I am in my second year of Masters in Medical Biotechnology under the CBH school. I'm from India and I'm also the student ambassador for my program.
Welcome Srijani. And we also have a very special guest here today, Karim Engelmark Cassimjee, who is KTH Alum of the Year and who we will introduce later. So in this webinar you will get to know about the master's programs at the School of Engineering Sciences in Chemistry, Biotechnology and Health. You will get to know about the content of the programs, career prospects, how to apply our research, and you will also hear about the student life here at KTH in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden and home of the Nobel Prize. And today we're very happy to be able to hold this webinar in our beautiful KTH library here. You can ask questions during the webinar to our master's coordinator and to our student ambassadors, and the chat will continue for 1 more hour after the webinar. You can reach the chat at kdh.se/meet. KTH is an old university. It was established in 1827. And the reigning Swedish king Carl XVI Gustav is the guardian of the university. KTH has over 1,300 full-time students, and of them around 1,500 are master's students. KTH also attracts around 2,000 PhD students, many of them from outside of Sweden. And KTH has over 300 professors and a staff of around 5,000. Srijani, why did you choose to study at KTH?
The fact that KTH is located at the heart of Scandinavia was a really good, seemed like a really good opportunity for an international student like me, as it showed it had endless opportunities post-graduation for me, and also the fact that the impressive technical background that KTH has was really appealing to me that I have seen so far.
I understand. KTH is one of Europe's leading technical university, and it's also ranked 41 worldwide for sustainable development. And sustainability is one of our core values, pillars as we call it, together with equality, internationalization and digitalization. And for each of these pillars, we also have a vice president who works with integrating these values in our research and education. Eva, how important would you say that sustainability and equality are for KTH's research and education?
Are really incredibly important. Let's start with the equality. As we are an old engineering university focusing on solving problems and trying to improve the society at large, everyone in mankind to actually help us in this development. So it doesn't really matter if you're male or female, equality is incredibly important to tackle the challenges for the future. And sustainability, it's really on everybody's agendas these days. As we are an engineering university, we have a possibility to contribute to the engineering challenges today. And by doing better engineering, we can also help to mitigate negative impacts on our society. So sustainability is really critical and is a key component for all the education, all the research that we conduct here. And you know what? Sweden is particularly innovative in this context. The government has decided that we will be a fossil-free nation by 2045. So we are of course building on those ambitions. So incredibly important.
Thank you. And Srijani, what is your experience of sustainability at KTH and in Sweden in general?
I think I agree with what Eva mentioned, and Sweden has a very, sustainability is very prevalent across Sweden, with reducing carbon emissions and also limiting pollution at every industry level. And even at KTH, we have so many courses and programs that are related to sustainability. It really gives me a positive outlook that I am studying something that's climate positive in the future. And also the fact that it has so many sustainability initiatives on campus with student recycling pop-ups and student groups, and also certain programs that are dedicated to sustainable development, I think really helps. I myself had taken one of those courses in my first semester, and it was really informative for me.
And the School of Engineering Sciences in Chemistry, Biotechnology and Health is the second largest of KTH's 5 schools. And our research and education span over a vast field of subject areas. They meet several global challenges, such as sustainable energy, health and an aging population, climate change, sustainable production and working life, food production and clean water. Eva, how do KTH and our school get along when it comes to international rankings?
Well, first of all, let us start by saying that KTH is not a comprehensive university, and to be really top ranked you need to be a comprehensive university. But taking that into account, I would say that KTH is doing really well. In the Times Higher Education Impact ranking, KTH actually ranked number 41 this year, which is incredibly good number. And if we look for the field of engineering and technology, we ranked 69 in the world. So that's also very strong positions, I would say. And speaking about our school in chemical engineering, we actually ranked top 100 in chemical engineering on the QS list.
Oh, that's really good.
Yes, so rankings are very important, and we monitor it very carefully.
Yeah. Srijani, did the ranking have any impact on your choice?
I think ranking was one of the criteria that I was considering when I was choosing my master's program or the university as a whole. So I think in general, for an international student, a ranking gives a really nice validation for one's choice in a world that there are so many that a student has to choose from. So I think being an international student, we have a lookout for the QS World Rankings, as to say.
I see. This school is located on 4 sites. We have our main campus here in central Stockholm at the edge of the Royal National Park. And then we have external campuses that are strategically placed close to academia and industry. Nearby the main campus lies Albanova, which is shared with Stockholm University, and here the school conducts research and education in biotechnology. We have Flemingsberg south of Stockholm, and it's an expanding cluster when it comes to technology, medicine and health. And it lies next to the Karolinska Institute and the University Hospital. The school is also involved in the National Research SciLife Lab. Eva, what is SciLife Lab and what are we doing there?
SciLife Lab is really a unique national resource. It gathers infrastructure, and the infrastructure itself gathers a lot of researchers. So it has developed over the last 10-12 years to become a really important focus for research on biomedicine, ecology and evolution matters, all aspects of life sciences. And it's not only a national very important research center, it has grown to become a very internationally well-renowned research center. So SciLife Lab is really something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And Srijani, do you study in these places?
I think I have my courses mostly are conducted in the main campus here or in Albanova. The best part about it is just a 15 minutes walk between the campuses, which might become a little bit of a jog when they're adjacent ones. But I think the professors are really accommodating, and then they start 1/4 of the hour. So that is really nice.
Sounds good. You're studying your second year, and
Yes.
during your first year you studied remotely because of the pandemic, and now you're back in the classroom. What is it like?
Well, it's really amazing. I mean, to be on campus, getting to know my peers in the class has been really exciting for me. So far, I've only seen their names with a black screen on Zoom. So I think that is really interesting, and also just to have like normal lunches with them on campus, seeing everybody spending time with each other it has been a really nice school life so far, I would say.
And Eva, how has it been for you as a teacher and professor?
Oh, I'm so happy that this is over now. Hopefully it's over. So I've been so bored looking at the Zoom screens 24 hours a day almost. So I'm very happy to be back on campus and meet with the students and the research colleagues. And so I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, I can really understand.
Yeah.
Here, as you can see on this slide, are our master's program, international master's programs, and they are all taught in English. Eva, could you tell us a bit about these programs?
Yes, I'll be happy to. So all these programs, they actually reflect the breadth of the research that is conducted at the CBH school. So if we start from the top, where we see the chemical engineering for energy and the environment, this is a program where the students acquire modern tools to design and analyze various processes, for instance, from the production of biofuels to the purification of drinking water. The second on the list is the industrial environmental biotechnology, and that is really a program that helps the students to develop a deep understanding on how to design and operate state-of-the-art life science-based production processes, focusing on quality, sustainability, and also finances. If we move further down the list, we see the program called Innovative Technology for a Healthy Living. This is a program that is a little bit special. It is co-run by something called EIT Health, which is a large European initiative focusing on health aspects. So this is a program that really focuses on healthy living focuses using technical solutions for wellness and active lifestyles. So it includes big data analysis from sensors and wearables, from regular citizens and professional athletes, and how those data can be translated into healthy living procedures and boosting public health initiatives and innovations around wellness. Next in line is the macromolecular materials, and a little bit further down you also see the program Polymer Technology. So this is a program that equips the students with a lot of tools that are required to understand the relationships between molecular structure, macromolecular and material properties. So in essence, it's all about making polymers, what properties the polymers have, and how these polymers can be utilized in a range of different material properties. And the Polymer Technology is a program that is co-organized with other Scandinavian universities. The Medical Biotechnology program is making a foundation for the development of sustainable biotechnological solutions and how these can be applied in healthcare. So it's really about state-of-the-art techniques, experiencing the operating technological platforms, and also again analyzing big data. And all this is reflecting the strong research in this field. Next in line, we have the Medical Engineering program, which is a truly interdisciplinary program combining both technology and medicine in the same program. So it is really about exploring the merits and the limitations of technology used in clinical and preclinical applications. So it's combining technology and medical applications. Molecular science and engineering provides in-depth knowledge of molecular systems and advanced tools for careers in industry, academia and society, meaning that you will gain a lot of knowledge on molecules, how they can be designed, characterized, and how they can be applied as individual molecules or in entire materials. The molecular techniques in life science is a very interesting master program, closely interconnected to SciLife Lab, as we heard about. It has really a strong focus on molecular techniques for disease therapies and diagnostic tools, and again a lot of data analysis in bioinformatics and programming. And this is a collaborative program between the Karolinska Institute and the Stockholm University, again hosted at Science for Life Laboratory. Sports technology is one of the most recent additions to this list. It's a program that provides unique understanding of the combination of sports science and engineering. So the students in this program will gain skills to develop new technologies for measuring sports performance and advanced healthcare. And last but not least on this list, we find the technology, work and health. And that is a program that is focusing on the work environment. So in this program, the students learn how to plan, design and analyze a work environment from the perspective of sustainable work and organizational performance. So irrespectively of which of these programs a student is interested in, they will all be very closely related to the research that is conducted at the school.
I see. Thank you, Eva. And as you said, joint programs, what are those? They are a collaboration.
Yes, so joint programs are programs that are offered not only by KTH, but in collaboration between KTH and at least one further university. So they give the student the benefit of experience not only one university, but at least two during the education.
I see. And medical biotechnology, Srijani, that's your program. Why did you choose this program?
I chose medical biotechnology primarily because it really aligned well with my plans for future and my aspirations, which is in research field, and I want to work in the pharmaceutical development. So that's why I felt medical biotechnology really was what related to what I wanted to study in, and it had some really systemic technologies that were being taught in the course. So that was really interesting to me, and so far the courses that I've taken, I think I've made a great choice, and I'm really liking the courses. So I think it's really nice and informative for someone who wants to get into the health sciences department, as Eva mentioned. So it's a really nice course.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. So about the studies, what sets KTH apart from other universities is the personal approach to education. Classes and seminars are held in smaller groups, and students are encouraged to solve problems together. And Srijani, could you tell us a bit about the structure of the studies?
So the structure of studies here at KTH, I think, was a little unique to me. So as we know, the two-year master's program is divided into 3 semesters and 1 degree project for 1 semester. Again, each semester is divided into 2 study periods. So for each study period, one can take 2 or 3 subjects. And I feel this is interesting for me because this wasn't how we used to do back in India, but I feel this is really nice way for a student to actually dive deep into each of the courses and really focus in one course for a time being before moving on to other courses. So.
Understand. Eva, do you have anything to add about the structure?
Well, I don't know if it adds to the structure, but maybe it's worthwhile to say that the structure at KTH is pretty flat, right? There is a close access to the professors and the teachers. The doors are open, and I know that you international students sometimes find that a little bit odd, or at least unusual, right?
Yes, that's true, but then it is really easy to approach the professors and really talk through any problems that we have, so that is really nice.
Thank you. Here on this slide, you can see our research departments. And Eva, we have talked about the programs. What about our research?
So the research at the CBH school is really large. There are a lot of researchers, as you mentioned in the beginning, and I think this slide really reflects the breadth of the research, and it's also again reflected in our education programs. So the research at CBH very much addresses the global challenges like energy, sustainable energies, sustainable climate, health and aging population to improve the life of people. We want to mitigate the climate change. We want to make sustainable production processes. And like you said in the beginning, we're focusing on a breadth of materials, food, energy, again, many of these different aspects. Many of the researchers are also working with materials. It could be materials for solar cells, it could be bio-based materials to replace fossil-based materials. So one of the very important part is really to make materials more sustainable. And the school was recently part of a large grant application which was funded. So we will have several hundred million Swedish crowns for research for the next 7 to 10 years, extra on top of what we already do. So the research at the CBH school is very strong, and is also has a very high breadth. So it covers many different areas of very good quality.
Wow, that sounds great. and so we will see some examples of the research at the school. And this is a smart shirt, which has been developed at our ergonomics division under the lead of Professor Mikael Forsman, and in collaboration with occupational health care. And this shirt measures and warns of movements and positions which could lead to musculoskeletal disorders. It measures the angles on arms and back, and it transmits the data to a smart telephone. And repetitive strain injuries are the second largest reason for sick leave. And with this t-shirt, workers can correct their postures and avoid these damage. Then our researchers played an important role already early in the pandemic with several projects that have received a great deal of media coverage. And here, for example, we see Associate Professor Zeynep Setesioglu Gurol and Professor Sofia Huber. Sofia's team have developed a test for antibodies with high accuracy. And 1 drop of blood is enough to see if a person has been infected by the virus. This could increase the understanding of the course of the disease. Then we have Zeynep's team, and they analyze traces of COVID-19 in wastewater. And this system method is still useful for monitoring the pandemic. We also have the development of a gene-based technology on a cheap disposable test strip with printed electronics for sampling of coronavirus. This new decentralized way of testing could be done in small clinics, booths, or at home. Srijani, has this research been included in your master's studies?
Well, I personally haven't worked in any of these projects, but they have been included in my coursework. So last semester, or last study period, I had this course of clinical applications in biotechnology, where I was really studying in depth about these technologies and their applications, like the point of care diagnostics that you were talking about, with a test which can be taken even at home or some rural areas, suppose. So that, I think those were really interesting research, and that's the thing that I love about KTH, that all the courses are so application driven. So we get really first-hand knowledge of how we can use these technologies into researches that's going on, current researches. So that has been really interesting, and I have been studying about them.
So I think that really reflects the proximity between
Yes.
what the students do and what the researchers do. So
That's
that you're
very true.
are really early users of the research findings. Yes.
Exactly.
Thank you. So what is this then that we see here on our slide and our table here.
Yes, so we actually do a lot of research on various types of adhesives, and this is a very special type of adhesive because it's a bone adhesive. I have borrowed it from my colleague, Professor Michael Malkoch, and what we're looking at here on the table is actually a pig bone, and it's not only a pig bone, it is a broken pig bone, and the broken bone has been fixated with a glue. So by doing this type of fixing of the bone, we actually avoid using screws or metal plates, so that the quality of this patient can be improved, not having to have the metal plate or the steel fixing inside. So for instance, let's say that you could fix facial bone damages by instead using an adhesive would really improve the quality of life for the patient.
Yeah.
So this is one example of a very advanced new material that can be used to improve the quality of life.
Sounds very promising and more comfortable than metal plates.
Yes, definitely.
And now I would like to welcome a very special guest, Karim Engelmark Cassimjee, who is a former doctoral student at our Department of Industrial Biotechnology. And he's also KTH's Alum of the Year. He's an innovator, a CEO and co-founder of the chemicals company EnginZyme. And he got the idea for this company during his doctoral studies here at KTH. So a warm welcome to you, Karim.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be back here in this room. I spent many hours here studying and also drinking coffee. So
it's really nice to have you here. So please tell us a bit about yourself and your KTH journey.
yeah, I spent a decade here at this place, and which is a long time for me. So I love this place. And I did my first degree here in biotechnology. Then I continued with my PhD studies here on the same subject, focusing on enzymes. So very enjoyable time with lots of good memories, really.
And you've also founded this company, EnginZyme. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, as you said, it's about chemistry and the chemical industry. So let's start a bit in that end. So what is the chemical industry then? Well, if you look around you, I don't think you see anything at all that is not coming from this huge industry, which is a pillar of society, actually. Even our bodies come from the chemical industry because we actually eat food that comes from fields that have been fertilized with chemicals. So this industry is a pillar of society, and all these products that are made are necessary. And unfortunately, in the making of the products, we have to use most often heavy metal catalysts, and that unfortunately produces lots of waste and requires a lot of energy. And we are converting starting materials to all these products, to see the colors in your shirt or the colors on the wall or whatever. And that conversion technology is not amenable to the future of this industry. We need to green the industry. And then looking at nature does the same or even more advanced chemistry with the help of enzymes. So what EnginZyme is trying to do is engineer enzymes. EnginZyme is to actually adapt these enzymes to be able to use them in a factory. So instead of using the heavy metals, we use enzymes instead in a more efficient way. And that actually also lowers the cost of the production, because in chemistry, when you do things the right way, using less energy and producing less waste, that actually is in line with lowering the cost. So it's not like organic meat or something where the greener alternative is costing more. So it's just a great thing here. We just look at nature and try to learn something from nature, and then also using the infrastructure available in the industry, which is a very fantastic and efficient industry. So trying to marry these two together. So it's a small task, just transforming a $5 trillion industry. So that's what we're trying to do.
But there seems to be a lot to gain in...
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, that whole drive is what makes me wake up in the morning, that I just, see an alternative way of doing this, that we all need to work together to achieve this goal. And as an engineer, you have the opportunity to build something and help something. So I think it's our job here to look at technology and adapt it to what the world needs. So I try to do my part, and I think we all should. Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you become interested in this subject area?
Yeah, why am I a chemist from the beginning? It's strange. I was very good at chemistry as a kid. I was very bad at many other things, but chemistry was easy for me. I had a very angry chemistry teacher who told me, why don't you? You're always late for class and you never do your homework, but you always ace the exam. So I was like, okay, I should probably focus on this then. I'm good at it. And then no, I like the concept of you don't see the molecules. The molecules are too small, but then you see what you made, and suddenly you're mixing all these things, and suddenly you have a product, and that can be a medicine or a polymer or a glue for bones, and it's some sort of magic going on here. So trying to understand these little molecules is what got me interested in the first place.
Thank you. And previously we talked about sustainability and equality, which are two important core values here at KTH and which we work a lot with. And Karim, how do you work with this in your company?
As a startup company, as a growing company, it's super important to maintain this innovative mindset, to be creative, and we also have to recruit competent people. And I'm very happy that when we do so, when we look for competence, the team just became diverse automatically when just looking at this specific thing. So we have a great mix of people from all over the world. I think we are 19 countries at EnginZyme today. And also having this atmosphere where you don't necessarily agree with each other or say the same things, or we have to create something new, a new thinking. Having people with different backgrounds and different thoughts and having an environment where you allow for these voices to be heard is what drives innovation, and that's super important. So we need to maintain that within the company to survive, I think. And it's also very close to my heart to see how people can come to this cold place from warm places and for some weird reason.
I see. And what did you bring with you from KTH?
Well, first of all, the science and the high quality education and the good foundation and a way of thinking about things and asking a question. Is this true? Or why, is this really true? The data I'm seeing, can I trust this data? And having a mind that always is curious about understanding whether, don't just take something for what it is. Read a textbook and learn from it, of course, but question what is written there. And you can apply that to anything, really, if you read a newspaper, for example, or something else. So that's one of the fundamental learnings, I think, from here.
Thank you. And Srijani, do you have a question to Karim?
Yes, I would like to ask, so being a student and staying in an innovative country like Sweden, so I would like to ask, how long did it take for you to have the idea for EnginZyme to actually creating the company?
I don't know if I knew that when I started. Maybe no, but the idea, the company was formed in 2014, and it takes a long time to find what you call a market fit, so to understand what you're actually able to sell. And in our case, it's manufacturing processes, and that wasn't what we started with. So, from the idea and the patent that was made during that time, and from a long line of research until now, is 8 years later, and we're still growing. So it's probably going to be my life's work. You know? Yeah. Yes. Don't give up. That's the message. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're really happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And we move on and to career prospects. A new released QS employability rankings show that KTH students are among the most employable in the world. The ranking places KTH 70th globally, which means it's number 18 among all European universities, 7th in the EU alone, and number 1 in Sweden. Many of our students start working in larger and smaller companies, among them also startups. Many start working at a company which they had done their master's thesis at, and part of the students also go on to doctoral studies. KTH, as you see here in the slide, has 12 strategic industry partners for deeper collaboration within research and education. Eva, could you tell us a bit about the collaboration with these strategic partners?
Yes, I believe that the collaboration with the strategic partners and also all the industrial collaborators that KTH have is very important, especially the strategic partnerships as they are so long-standing. So they build on old relationships from many years of collaboration, and that means that the students actually can, during their education, meet the companies on seminars or guest lectures or even laboratories or study visits. And when it comes to research, there are very strong research collaboration that lasts for many, many years between KTH and these companies. So it adds value to the students, it adds a lot of value to the research, and I think it also fosters a community of being active in the society. How can the KTH educations actually help to support the development of society, to stay relevant for a brighter future?
Thank you. And Srijani, have you started looking for degree projects yet?
Yes, I have started looking for degree projects, and I think students usually start in the beginning of the third semester because sometimes it can get a little overwhelming with the ongoing studies. But that's great that it's good if we start a little early. But that's the best thing that Sweden offers. It has a lot of places where we can do our thesis. We can do it under a teacher or a researcher. We can also perform it in research institutes and even in companies that are startup companies or well-founded companies. Plus we can do it, it doesn't have to be only in Stockholm or Sweden for that matter, it can be all over the world. So that it has a lot of opportunities, and being a student I feel really valued coming here. So.
Happy to hear that. Do you have any thoughts about your future career? What would you like to do?
I would like to have a future in research related to pharmaceutical development, as I mentioned. For my future, I want to pursue a doctoral studies in the same field. So I think that is where I would like to see myself in the next couple of years.
I see, thanks. Eva, how do you apply for a PhD at KTH?
Yeah, I think that's very transparent here because all the PhD positions are actually publicly announced. So they are all posted on the KTH website. Mm-hmm. And since we have more than 1,500 PhD students, there are quite a bit of ads for PhD positions. So stay tuned.
Sounds hopeful. And Karim, what were your PhD studies at KTH like?
Well, it's very nice and good. Again, focusing on enzymes and understanding enzymes, and also meeting a lot of people in a very collaborative lab. And these PhD students and postdoctoral students are also coming from many parts of the world. So meeting the people and learning new cultures as well, and sharing thoughts, learning about science, and again learning how to become a scientist. That's a PhD education. It's an education. So you learn how to think in a scientific way, and that I think benefits anyone really to do that.
And I think that's really a core value to KTH PhD education, since there's a number of PhD students here, so we have a culture in doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And innovation and entrepreneurship are a natural part of the courses here at KTH. And there's also a whole department called KTH Innovation, which works with helping students with their innovations. There is a student business incubator, for example. And many ideas and innovation emerge from KTH, and CBH makes a great contribution to this. Around a third of the ideas come from our school. So Karim, did you get any help for your company from KTH Innovation?
Yeah, and what you need as a researcher is, when you have an idea, is to understand how that can be applied on the market. So, and again, you're now I'm going to contradict myself here, but you have a scientific mindset, and scientific mindset is all about saying what you have a basis for. But then when you want to start a company and want to take something to market, you never have a complete basis. You have to make a decision on incomplete data. And that kind of shift and mindset is something that they really helped with understanding the importance of market analysis and sales, etc. And also a simple thing like getting money for a patent, of course, is essential, especially if you have a scientific invention. This is not a company that you're going to base on anything else than your science, so that needs to be protected and patented, and that's a good help that he can assist you with as well.
Good. And do you collaborate with any companies in your company?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. We work with several customers and partners in our projects, and that has a quite wide range of things that we want to do, all the way from cosmetics and flavors into the food space and into chemicals, etc. So, in each different niche or vertical, we have a partnership that we seek. So, yes, we do, and those are not so many in Sweden actually, mostly all over the world, and in India and in Europe and in the USA as well.
Oh, sounds exciting to have a broad.
So Karim, do you still collaborate with your former PhD supervisors?
I do actually, yes. We do. We just discussed a couple of weeks ago if we're going to have a joint project, and we have lunch once in a while as well.
So the network is really good to have.
The network is good,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I see. So here we see some pictures that Srijani has put together. It's to illustrate her student life in Stockholm. And Srijani, could you tell us a bit about what we see here?
Yes, so like we can see in the slide, I arrived in Stockholm on the 15th of August of 2020 actually. That was also the Independence Day that we celebrate in India. So you can see us in the bottom right, bottom corner that me and my friends, we were flanking the Indian flag just outside the Arlanda airport. So, so that was really interesting. And then in the coming days or weeks, I was part of some events to know my peers or the students who were joining with me under the THS Student Union. So they had arranged some reception activities for us new students, which was a really good way to getting to know people whom I still spend my time with. Of course, there was included a lot of city touring, like you can see in the slide. So one of my favorite places in Stockholm is the Old Town or the Gamlastan, so I have made some quite often visits to that. Followed by, there is this beautiful picture of fall that I had taken from my student housing actually. I think coming from India, we don't get this season, so that was really unique. I mean, it might be common here, but the red and the golden hue across, like around me, was so beautiful. I always had my camera in hand just to click a beautiful picture. And well, the last picture is what we can experience now already. So that is basically me and my friends enjoying the winter. We were literally standing or sitting on a frozen lake. So, yes, so it was cold, but it was really fun to see snow everywhere, and like the beautiful snowfall even today was so beautiful. I mean, it was really nice.
Yeah, as you say, it's like the weather today, pretty much cold
Yes.
and snowy.
Yes.
Thank you. So, what do we see here then? You worked with a student project called IGEM, and could you tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, so IGEM, it stands for International Genetically Engineered Models. It's a competition that's held worldwide, and it brings students all across the world to come together and basically finding novel solutions to global problems using synthetic biology. So this year I was a part of the IGEM Stockholm team, as you can see in this slide, and we had a lot of events, both combined to Zoom and some in-person events later in the year. So we were working on developing a rapid test to test for dysbiosis on our skin. So we were testing for skin microbial dysbiosis, and we were creating an aptamer-based rapid test. So recently we actually got some good news for the project. The results were declared for this year's competition. and IGEM Stockholm got the gold medal for this year.
Wow.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Wonderful.
Yes, that was a really nice moment that we spent as a team together in Paris, actually. So it was really good.
Sounds great. We hope to follow you in this project and
Yes,
see what it.
sure.
And Karim, do you have any memories of your student life at KTH?
Yes, I do. It's when you start at KTH, at least when I started, I was 20, and I mean, you think you're an adult when you're 20, but you're not. And then you sort of grow into adulthood, and so it's a big part of my personality where I grew up. So somehow, and meeting people from everywhere, and having friends for life from that period. So yeah, absolutely, I can recommend it.
And Eva, do you remember your student life?
It's a very long time ago, but yes, I can still remember it. And I agree with you, Karim, that it's really a time where you make a lot of friends that I still spend a lot of time with. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's see. So, Srijani, you also work as a student ambassador here at KTH. What is that like?
So basically being a student ambassador, so every program under the CB at school, we have a student ambassador appointed to each program. When we visit the site, the kth.se/meet, we can find the details of every student, and when you click on one of them, one of the images related to a program that one student is interested in. So there is a short interview that we have given a few months back. So there's details about the program, and then there is also a place where basically a contact form where prospective students, if they have any questions related to our specific program or basically student life in Stockholm, Sweden, we can be contacted. So we are always there, and whenever you have any questions, especially during this application period, some students might have questions. So we are very happy to help in this.
Great. So you can take a look at the student ambassadors on our website. You can also follow KTH on other social media channels such as Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And remember that our student ambassadors are online right now and ready to chat with you. So just go to the website kth.se/meet and you can chat with them. So how do you apply to KTH? As the first thing you need to do is to choose your programs, and then you have to be sure to check the admission requirements for your preferred programs, and you can find them under each program on the KTH website. Submit your application by the 17th of January, and by the 1st of February you have to submit the required documents for the programs you have applied for. You also have to pay the application fee by this date. And you will receive the admission result by the 7th of April. Srijani, what was your experience of the application process?
This application process was really seamless. I think the centralized application process that we have in Sweden is really helpful, and we can apply up to 4 programs through one application. So that is really keeps your options wide if you are interested in more than one related programs. And also I think it's really important, like you mentioned, to go through the specific course requirements, and also going through sometimes there are some country specific requirements also which we can check, and going through them can take a little bit of time. So I think it's a little better to start off early now that the application process is open. And of course, if anyone has any question, the student ambassadors like us, we are always open to answering any questions that they have regarding the application process or anything related to student life.
And what about scholarships if you want a scholarship?
So KTH also offers many scholarships. They provide a good financial aid for a student. It can be for a tuition fee waiver for the whole entirety of 2 years. or even for 1 year. And also the Swedish Institute also provides some scholarships to students, also in the form of tuition fee waiver. Even for research thesis projects, we have a grant that is given by Karl Engvars Foundation, which also recently that I got to, thank you, for conducting a research project through KTH. So I think there are a lot of financial help that we can get from KTH itself. So there are also some requirements and some deadlines to look out for. So it's better to start off a little early.
Thank you. And Eva, do you have any tips on how to apply?
Well, like you said, start early so that you make sure that you fulfill all the requirements. And also when it comes to scholarships, be on the lookout. Sometimes there are like national initiatives that support studies in Sweden from a particular country. So start early and be attentive to what the other students say and can support you with.
See. So we have come to the end of this webinar about the KTH School of Engineering Sciences in Chemistry, Biotechnology and Health. And the chat will stay open for 1 more hour, so please stay and chat with our students, ambassadors and study counselor. And as you see here on this slide, there are more webinars that are coming up, which you can watch, and you can also chat with our student admission. And Eva, would you like to say any final words?
I do hope that we have managed to convey that KTH is really a great place to conduct your master studies at, and we're looking forward to see many of new students next year joining this brilliant student and others.
Yes. So thank you, Karim, Eva, and Srijani, and for joining me today. And thank you all for watching, and good luck with your future studies.